Project Greenlight's contest for screenwriting and directing.
Amateur people who've never made a movie before get a chance to do just that.
We changed the contest this year. There are separate categories of writing and directing.
The Battleshaker Heights is a great coming-of-age story.
It's about this kid, Kelly, who's pissed off at the hand he's been dealt by life.
I had no idea how to get from where I was to being a Hollywood director.
I mean, I think it'd be pretty intense for them to sort of go from whatever they've been doing to literally coming to work every day and trying to make this movie.
People can see how hard it is to do this. We want to show things as they really are.
And now, coffee. We're about 5 weeks before the first day of shooting, which is absolutely terrifying. So it's gonna get pretty crazy.
What's going on? I just brewed some coffee. Okay.
2 weeks ago, I was still weeding gardens and that kind of thing, and it's just so cool to just be here doing what I love full time. Can you hold that again?
I'm getting ready to turn in my second major script revision. I really just want everyone to think I'm doing an awesome job and having to say, how did you incorporate everything that we asked you to, you know? So fast.
Eric is still trying to get an idea of what her role is going to be.
So you don't think I'm going to be involved in any way in the editing process?
It's not very typical that you know
None of
that
this
you.
is typical.
In this case, it's going to be different than it would be on a normal film. Her role is being elevated, and we're empowering her to do more. But ultimately, it's a director's medium. I could reasonably justify having you on set.
Right.
Having you in the editing room, not really.
Right. My understanding is that I also get a creative producer credit. Or is that inaccurate?
I will find out. I don't know if any of this stuff has been decided.
Do you want me to ask someone else?
No, I'm happy to ask.
Okay.
Hi, good to meet you. What's your name?
Nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you.
Great to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
We're starting to interview the key crew, the production designer, the editor, and most importantly, the director of photography, the DP.
Okay, I'm Kyle. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Come on in our office.
We don't even have people on the table we want to hire yet. That's why I keep driving, you know, Joel and Jeff, that by Friday, or certainly by Friday of next week, we should have hired everybody.
The beginning of the film, it's kind of like, it's very interesting for me because it's kind of, you start with a child in a way. Still, it's adult, but it's a child.
From having worked on jobs, what is your biggest pet peeve?
When people don't know what they want.
So you like to be pretty active in the whole pre-production process as well.
As much as possible. If you're not around and the AD's got a question, I know exactly what the answer is because we've already discussed it. I know if there's some wiggle room.
When we want it one way and the studio wants it another, who are you loyal to?
If studio comes in and muscles me, I'll maybe give them what they want also, but
Right.
You know, I have to stand by you guys.
Making a feature film is more than just having good ideas or being creative. It's also about leading and sort of commanding an army.
Well, we were just talking to Jeff about how hard it is for us to actually consider hiring an editor, just because for the past 10 years, everything we've done, Ephraim has edited it. And
So this is a very new experience.
Oh my God.
The 10 years that we spent in Maine shooting our films, we did not have a team of people helping us. It was us doing everything. In your off hours, how would you feel about me sitting down at the machine?
That would be a little weird.
Yeah.
Because I've never done that before, so I don't know.
So what's some of the low budget stuff that you've done? Down here in the bottom.
In high school, I did a play. They have strong opinions, I know that, but sometimes it's hard to get it out of them. I feel like they're both very good communicators with each other, but it remains to be seen how they are communicating with other people.
Here's a question I had for you, Jeff. And it's like, well, she's in here and she's showing us her pictures and stuff. I'm like, do we even need a production? Do we even need her? Like,
Oh yeah,
why?
to build the world, to create the whole, physical look of the world that you're shooting.
Well, why couldn't we work closely with the prop master and all the other people?
Prop master works for her.
Right, but why couldn't? How much money would we save, basically, if we didn't have her?
You trust me, you want a production designer.
When I hear stories like I just heard today where they're asking Jeff why they have to have a production designer, it doesn't make any sense to me. Sort of like, a guy who wants to drive race cars going, why do I need a mechanic? to some extent, I hope you open your minds to the idea that if you can communicate your vision, some people may be able to elevate your vision, understanding what you want, and you do need people focusing on costume every minute of the day. You do need people focusing on camera and on editing, and it's just physically impossible for one group of people to focus all that on the level of detail it needs to be focused on to be good.
I'm excited. I'm really excited to work with a team of talented people on this film. I am.
All right, we'll see.
Where are they?
Let's just pick them downstairs.
Joseph's ready to put out a casting offer right now, but the directors haven't signed off yet. So once they do, we can then go to Miramax for approval.
I gotta go. We're gonna hire Emil Hirsch. You'll love him, I promise you.
So you feel really good about that?
Great about it. I hear there's movement. Miramax is gonna get excited about it. UTA is moving on it, and I promise you that sweetness, because he's very sweet, but he has comedy.
I think about you all the time. It keeps me awake at night. I guess you must think that is really creepy.
Emil Hirsch is the actor that Miramax and most everyone else wants to play the part of Kelly. And I don't see the spark of Kelly in Emil. Last night you came in and you're like, we're hiring Emil, and we're all like, we're hiring Emil? We're in a situation where there is a process that's already in place. There's politics, there's the way things have already been done, and we're trying to navigate our way through that.
You're crazy if you're not interested in Emil for this. He has all the right elements. He marries everything together for what would be perfect for Kelly.
Well, maybe I'm crazy because I don't think that that's a good idea. Honestly, I don't always know what is motivating Joseph's decisions. I don't want you to feel like we view you as the enemy, but sometimes, like, I don't know, the exchange of information sometimes...
It's too fast.
It's too fast. It's just, yeah.
You wait too long, there are 20 other movies you're competing against in town.
Yeah.
If you wait, you won't have the choice whether you want them or not. Somebody else is gonna have them. I've had some experience in this. I think you need to trust me. I don't think there's a lot of trust going on right now.
In general, I feel like we're not really that involved in the casting process. And as soon as word comes down from Miramax, offers are going to be made. And I'm not sure at this point that we're going to be yaying or naying what offers are being made.
I think we're being advised, but I'm still in a place where I feel like that is a good thing.
We're more than being advised. It's moving forward. You know, steps are being made. Ephraim is a little bit more of a control freak, which is great. You know, I think we balance each other well. You know, the biggest thing is, can he play the role? And I just don't think he can. Yeah, we can find out once we get on set, but Jesus Christ, that seems like a big gamble. I mean, I feel like I'm alone on this. You know, you talk to Joseph and he says, you know, would you be happy with a meal? And you're saying yes. And I'm saying no. And so we're just coming from two different places. I tend to be kind of more cool and intellectual. He's much more emotional. If you guys want to start the meeting, I'm going to step outside for a minute and just try to calm down. It just sucks. It's a sucky position to be in. Ephraim went outside to cool off, and I just tried to go into Joseph's office and clear it up. Can we be kept in the loop as far as when offers are going out? And
yes, of course.
Of course. Great.
We'll definitely won't make an offer without telling
Okay,
them.
good.
You don't want the directors to be working with an actor that they're not happy with, and that's very important because the last thing you want is them to just be like, at every level, the movie's not working, be like, I told you I couldn't work with this guy.
This week, the directors are meeting with several actresses for the role of Eve, Kelly's mom. Eve is sort of an artist, like a free spirit, kind of an ex-hippie. And Joseph set up a meeting with Sharon Lawrence, who's from NYPD Blue.
Yeah.
Hey.
Sharon.
Ephraim, it's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a
But I have
pleasure
a
to meet
question.
you.
Are you going to blow me up?
Only if it's right for the part. No, no, we have no plans.
Buzz me
Desperately, if you're really, really good.
We've had to do the interview thing with actors who won't read, and it's always a little strange. Unless you click into a dialogue right away with them about the characters or whatever, it can be really a hard thing to kind of jumpstart.
She comes in, and this is the audition. These are the directors.
Do you have questions for us? I mean, what would you?
Yeah, I do have a question. Have you guys ever done a feature before?
Yeah, the first thing we did in Maine was a feature.
You shot together?
Yep.
At the same time?
Yeah.
I've never done a three-way, I have to say.
You meet a lot of wonderful people, like total sweethearts, and you still leave there not really knowing whether or not they'd be right for the part.
It was great to meet you guys in person. I mean, I can actually say I'm fans of your work. It's really nice to be able to tell you that personally. Can you come down?
These meetings are very strange. It's like someone gets so big, they're like, well, my client won't read, but you can have a great exchange with them. It's like, well, what is that gonna... I mean, I know I like her.
You can have them in the room and wish they would read for you. Joseph kind of came down on us, which rightly so, because for some reason, both Kyle and I said virtually nothing.
Yeah. You gotta suck up to them and engage, you know, because you do love them. I mean, you know, and it's like you were like, oh, wow, she's such a good actress.
Right.
But then we didn't share that with her.
Schmoozing is not my thing. It doesn't come naturally to me.
I should have said something. I wish I had something to say, but I hit a wall.
Yeah, I think it can be hard sometimes.
I did have a feeling of just like, what's the point of why should I go down that road? But what Joseph said made sense.
Yeah, it does.
I would have serious questions if I went to a meeting like that today. I'd leave that meeting and going, wow, they're mutes. I don't know. I never worked for a mute before. I mean, can we do that as a director?
About mid-afternoon on Monday, Kyle and I decided to take off so we could clear our heads and read through the new draft of the script.
Bye.
Good day.
When I came in, Kyle and Ephraim were not here, which was kind of surprising to me. Where'd they go? Nice. So they got nothing to do? Did Erica come back, or is she gone too?
Erica's gone too.
Excellent. All right, well, we just got the word from Miramax that we can offer it to Emile Hirsch.
We can.
Yes, so I wanted to maybe do that call with you. Who gets cast in the lead role is one of the key decisions. So you want to make sure when you're offering it to somebody that everybody signed off on it. Listen, I talked to the studio. We just talked to the executive about this kid, Emile Hirsch. They've signed off on making an offer to him.
Okay. He's great, Matt.
Well, did Kyle and Ephraim feel that way?
Kyle and Ephraim are, you know...
He's their first choice on the director's list.
Emile is Kyle and Ephraim's first choice?
Yes.
Oh, well, great. I mean, I'd rather just defer to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Hello?
Ben.
Yeah.
Chris Moore.
Come on, Goldie.
The thing we wanted to call about right now is Miramax has approved, and the directors are very psyched, of somebody for casting. And just because we're basically 5 weeks out from shooting today, we wanted to get the ball rolling.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Do it.
All right, thanks, Ben.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye.
Do we need to talk to the directors? I could have been duplicitous and just kind of barreled it through, but that's not my job. I want to make sure that my directors and I are on the same page. And I didn't really hear them sign off on Emile.
Yes. I thought the director said yes.
We should just...
Well, they were all on board, but they were, you know, they're very... Whew.
What's that mean? They're non-opinionated, or they're passive-aggressive, or they're
well, let's just start
the wrong way.
Let's just start with non-opinionated.
Why don't you have Aaron get in here and get them all on the phone?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that they don't go, because I told them that this may happen too.
Okay.
Hello?
Who's this?
This is Ephraim.
I got a conference call from Chris Moore, who I didn't know was coming in. So I just imagined Chris Moore walking into the office and being like, where the hell is everyone? Where's Kyle and Ephraim? They're not here.
Where the hell are you, dude? It's only like 5 o'clock. You're not in the office.
I stepped out so I could clear my head and read through the new draft of the script.
No one knew where they were. It was a good time to ask for a meal, wasn't it?
So we got the sign-off from Miramax to make an offer to Emile Hirsch.
You did, okay.
I just need to know what your guys' situation is, but this is sort of the moment in time, because I would like to offer it to him, you know, when we hang up.
Okay. Now, Joseph had brought up the possibility of making an offer that was contingent on having a meeting with him.
Yeah.
Is that still possible?
I don't know. It probably won't be. Like, he's certainly going to want to meet with you if he decides to do the part. But I think if the meeting is you can decide after the meeting you don't want him to do the part, he's probably not going to come in for that.
Out of everyone, I was the only one with any reservation about Emile from the beginning. And it was just funny that it all came down to me, giving it a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
This is sort of the moment in time. of whether you think you can do it or not, or if not, who do you think can?
Right. Okay, well then, you know what? I would say just go ahead and make an offer.
And you all right speaking for Kyle on that?
Yeah, and I know where Kyle's coming from, and he feels good about that. So yeah, I would say go right ahead.
All right, great.
Perfect.
At that point, I just decided it was better to put my reservations aside than to hold up the process. I just had to trust that this was the right thing to do.
Will you call Barry Levin's office, please, and ask his assistant, say, did you get did Barry make all of the offers on Friday? There should be 5 offers out right now.
Casting's moving ahead. Miramax has put out offers for all the lead roles. Emile Hirsch for Kelly, Liv Tyler for Tabby, and Goldie Hawn for Kelly's mom. For Kelly's dad, Billy Bob Thornton was unavailable, so now we're out to Gary Sinise.
That's very important. Get an answer back. Okay. Find out who they're out to and who he talked to. Please.
Okay. The script is the most important thing we have for attracting talent because we certainly don't have any money to pay anybody. So we want to make sure that the script is in as good a shape as possible before it goes out to actors.
All right, well, you want to talk about some of that stuff? You want to go through it page by page? I felt as soon as we got the new draft, we need to have a meeting right away. I want these guys to understand that there's not going to be any sort of sitting around time. As soon as she turns in a new draft, we're going to have notes about it, and we're going to have to keep moving forward.
Did you call the meeting because you have a lot to say?
A, I didn't want there to be long turnaround. When Erica works really hard turning in a draft, we should be ready to talk about it the next day, kind of thing. I think the other reason I wanted to talk about it was we need to pick a draft we're sending to actors.
Yep.
It was also trying to see if maybe script was something that would pull Kyle and Ephraim out of their little tortoise shell. So if you want, I can start with mine.
Yeah, what are your overall notes?
I still think the Lance thing is confusing to me. I don't think enough happens at the grocery store. His job at the ShopRite is irrelevant to the movie. Have Abe get sick way earlier. You just see it coming from 7,000 miles away.
It's always a hard thing to get notes and be cool with it. You feel ashamed, kind of, you know, that the thing that you did isn't good enough or whatever. And so as much as I'm aware that I shouldn't be feeling that way, and I say it's not about me, like, you feel it.
I do think there's a very linear way that the script flows out right now. Sort of event, Kelly, you know, sort of smiling at the end of the movie. But I think that you have the sweet ending. I'm nervous that we don't earn it. We just land there.
I just sat back. I was listening to all this because I kind of agreed with Chris. I mean, I had felt from the beginning that the ending really lacked something, and I knew it still needed work.
Kyle and Ephraim agree with me, but they're just two big pussies right now to say something. So what is it then to you?
It's the accumulation of the series of events that happen, including the moment when he sees Tabby get married. Oh, duh, I am a 17-year-old. I was never going to have that girl. There she goes.
And you think the audience gets all that?
Yeah, I do.
Whenever a writer turns to me and says, I think what you want is already in the script, what they're really saying is you're a fucking idiot and you missed it. I just want you to be careful that we're not sort of TV movie it.
I think this is the furthest thing from a TV movie, but...
So just the guy whose car just mysteriously crashes, like...
First of all, I'm not even fighting. I don't care. I don't care if he has it or doesn't. I mean...
There's a scene in the script that I just really don't buy. You know, Kelly's headed toward rock bottom. He's lost his friend. The girl he thinks he likes has rejected him. He's still in a big battle with his dad. You know, everything's going wrong, and he wrecks his Jeep. I'm saying that at that moment, his car breaking down is when I start laughing at the movie. And that's why I use the TV analogy. That, to me, is the damsel in distress Lifetime moment, which is everything is wrong, and now my car's going to break down.
I will never in my fucking life write, you know, a movie like that. So how dare you use those words, you know, in reference to what I'm doing. If you think that an accident is Lifetime movie moment, the moment where the kid is gonna go, ha ha ha, and look at himself in the mirror and go, who am I? I mean...
Well, I'm hoping, Erica, we get a better version of it than that. But like I said, I'm giving you my notes. It's my read of the situation, and maybe the audience will get it.
The best way for me to maintain my integrity is to keep in the fray and keep fighting and keep writing. In other words, I've lost the integrity the minute I say, I will not write that scene, and somebody else writes it. If we don't have to send them out today, what I would say is, then we wait and see, and I'll see if I can come up with something that we might, you know, change a little bit or whatever, but, and then, because we can send it out tomorrow
the way right. This is actually the first test where I've actually given her something that she's sort of reluctant to do, and that's why I'd like Kyle and Ephraim to sort of speak up, because in a way, they're the they can be the judge of this. But so far, they're staying right on the fence, and the fence is no place for the director to be.
We've been trying not to sledgehammer Erica either, because, I mean...
But now's the time for you guys to step up and start saying what you really think.
But I've also told her now is her, because we wanted to be in her voice, now is her time to fight, because then it'll be our time to fight.
I think they are thinking to themselves, it doesn't really matter what happens now. We're 5 weeks out of shooting. Let these guys talk about this. Let them figure it out. But once we get on set, we'll be the boss, and everyone will just do what we say. And so my fear is that they're not thinking through that these decisions are important now. Good luck with the casting.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Harrison's passed. So are you ready to go to Bill Paxton?
We currently have 5 offers out to some pretty big actors, but currently there's no one cast yet.
Hey, Chris, it's Joseph Middleton and everyone else from Project Greenlight. First of all, Bill Paxton passed, so we want to go to James Woods.
I didn't even know that.
So we need your approval for that. They don't want us to go out with an offer to Alicia Cooper until Monday.
Casting is still so completely up in the air that I cannot see who's going to play these characters.
Someone passed.
Goldie, who was it?
Ding, ding, I love this game of who passed.
It's either like, hey, Joseph, Goldie Hawn passed. You know, and you're like, what, why? I didn't like it, you know, and then you're in the room. For Joseph, it's very much like, okay, we're moving on next, you know, but for us, we're like, what, why?
And then we've got to decide who you're going to go to next after Kim Cattrall.
How is that looking in a word?
It passed. She passed.
She didn't?
No.
Did she really?
Uh-huh.
Well, that stinks. The problem is the time's going to dwindle very quickly. We really shouldn't be casting right up to the last minute.
Is it bad news? Our first offer out was Jameel Hirsch for Kelly, and the fucker passes. Like, you have him, and then the agent calls and says that Emil did not respond to the material. Okay. I will let them know that.
It's a pass. Anything more than that?
You don't want it?
Yeah, I don't know.
He didn't respond to the material.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, Neil passed on the role of Kelly because he didn't connect to the material. The script I wrote.
Well, he's stupid then.
He's stupid.
He's gonna ruin the day.
Who wanted him? You didn't want him.
I didn't want him anyway.
No.
Erica, since she didn't live here, needed a car, so the product placement guy got her the use of a BMW for the period that she's here. I don't know, whatever, it's 4 months that she'll have to give back eventually.
My keys. Do you hear keys? Do you know that Erica has a convertible BMW?
Oh, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. That's just not cool.
Ephraim has the crappiest car in creation. It's a ridiculous car, and he needs something better.
This is the little blue Eagle Summit that took me cross country. I've actually asked if I could be buried in this car, since it's had so many problems that it's very likely that I'm going to die in it. It's a dangerous piece of equipment for me to be tooling around in. I don't want to drive around in my piece of crap car.
We're less than a month away. We don't have a cast, don't have a production designer or an editor. This whole pre-production process has been very short anyway, so we haven't had that much time to get going, and we have to move quickly.
Can I get a car? People keep interrupting the meeting saying I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Dave's taking care of it.
Out.
Yeah.
Is yours not working?
Mine's in rough shape.
We're having a meeting about all the stuff that's going on with the production, and Ephraim says that he wants a car. What's the problem?
I was just asking if there's any way, if it's realistic for me to get a car of some kind without it taxing the budget.
What do you mean, get a car?
Get a car just to drive.
It doesn't say that in the budget. It doesn't say that in the prize. You win a car, too.
My car is leaking every fluid that it's supposed to be holding on to. So since I saw that they were giving out cars here at Project Greenlight, Erica got a car. I just asked Chris Moore and Jeff Bayless if I could get a car.
I can't believe this guy's asking me this question right here. I mean, the balls of it is, but also just the stupidity of it. Like, I mean, that's not the thing that you want to be talking about right then.
I just didn't know if there's some sort of deal with BMW.
You've got a Beamer, right?
Well, you got a placed Beamer already?
Yours is very feminine.
Yeah.
You don't want the feminine version?
No.
It's a convertible. What's wrong with that?
It's like purple or something, right?
So the Beamer's not good enough, is what you're saying?
As a director, I'm just telling you.
So you're getting picky.
7 series? What do you want?
Ephraim is still living in the world where we all revolve around Ephraim. And at this stage, I had hoped that Kyle and Ephraim would be at the point where everything revolves around making a good movie.
How you doing, man? Good to see you.
We brought in our top director of photography candidate, a guy named Larry Shear, to have a second meeting with the directors, and so we can hopefully lock him down and get on with the rest of the crew hires.
We talked a little bit about trying to shoot it with a look that was that screamed sort of realism.
Right.
What you were
to
seeing.
me, I don't know why, I kind of think like it's sort of a little bit more of like a backlit, sort of like slightly desaturated sort of feel. That to me feels nostalgic.
Yeah.
I felt that the meeting went very well up until the end.
I noticed that Larry had been interrupting us a lot. I'm like, is that going to continue to be a problem? Basically, because it's very important for us to have a really good creative rapport and really good communication with a DP. We've interviewed some other people that we didn't bring it up with, and it ended up afterwards, we were like, oh, that person really interrupted the whole time, and we just kind of, well, that plus other reasons wrote them off, but I know that that was a big factor, and I know that you're definitely one of our top contenders, so rather than have that be something that I don't feel 100% about, I'd rather just bring it up. And
I think it's cool that you brought it up. I probably never noticed it, and it's just part of my personality, but I would just probably be more aware of it.
Okay.
But it shouldn't create any problems, you know?
I just feel like there's a better way to bring it up, that just calling somebody out in a room isn't going to make it better. It's only going to make your relationship weird.
Cool. On that note, I'll just back out slowly and shut up.
At the same time that I was a little bit shocked, I was like, good for you for bringing it up.
They don't want an editor, don't want a production designer, and want a DP that they can control. That scares me.
Well, thank you, Larry.
Hey.
That was probably the strangest interview you've ever had.
now you're afraid to say anything that you talk over someone.
A couple of days after the second meeting with Larry, I got a call from Larry's agent saying that after a lot of thought, Larry's gonna have to pull himself out of the running.
What do you mean?
That's what I was trying to tell you on the phone. Larry Shear is out of the running.
I mean, he pulled himself out?
He pulled himself out of the running.
Why?
Because at the end of the last meeting, Ephraim goes, I don't know how to say this, but you talk over me when I'm talking. Like, basically said, you know, you talk over me when I'm talking.
They got some real issues about people. Isn't that what they said about the editor, the one editor? Or the one production designer?
Yeah, the one production designer talked over. One of them actually talked over.
They must hate me.
That's just sort of really odd. I mean, like, in terms of, like, what it to me was just not focusing on the right thing in the meeting. Literally, it's like you do a slightly wrong thing in there, you look at it a little bit wrong way, mine's made up.
I'm getting really frustrated. When your top DP candidate drops out because of the way he was treated in an interview meeting, something's got to be wrong. My frustration is that Kyle and Ephraim keep acting like they've done this before and they know what's going on, but given the results, it really feels like they don't. And they better figure it out quick because we're starting to run out of time.